Good morning, Celebration Spiritual Center. Good morning. Let us stand as we prepare to open our service with prayer. And this morning, our prayer champion, Nick Bullock, will lead us in prayer.
Good morning, Celebration. Good morning. Let's take this time to close our eyes and just settle into the space. Taking a deep breath in and releasing. And another breath in and releasing. As I settle into this space, as I get grounded into this space, I know that there is only one. There is only one power, one presence, one energy, one life, one substance, and that is you, God. You are all things. You are all power, all presence, all substance, all energy, all love, all light, all spirit, everything. You are all things, and I am so glad to know that I am one with you. I am so glad to know that I am connected to the one and only power, force, and life, the one and only spirit. I know that you are the guiding force that allows the cosmos to be. You are the guiding force that woke me up this morning. You are the energy that causes me to live, move, and breathe. I am so happy to know that I am connected to you. I am so glad to know that I am in divine partnership with you. Each and every moment I get to witness you. Each and every moment I get to experience you. I get to witness the witness. I get to watch the watcher. I get to see the seer. I know that I am one with you. I know that you are guiding each and every one of my steps, each and every day. And as I know this to be true for me, I know this to be true for each and every person in this room. I know that we are one with you. I know there is no separation. I know that anything that comes up as a feeling of lack or limitation or wanting, all of that I can just release it and let it go. Because I am in divine partnership with you. I am in divine connection with you. I am never separate from you. So right here and right now, I allow this experience to settle into my being. I allow myself to get grounded at the start of this service. I allow all that there is to come to just settle into my being and allow that presence to just permeate each and every cell in my body. So I just give thanks for this moment. I give thanks for this day. I give thanks for this service and Soul 21 and the pastors and each and every person that walks into this room, into this congregation, knowing that we are all blessed, that we are all connected, that we are all one, that we are all divinely guided by the one and only force, being and power that is love, that is light, that is God. So I simply release this prayer back into source, back into cause, knowing that it is already done. And together we say, amen, amen. Ashe, and so it is. So it is.
So we celebrate being right here, right now. The past is gone, the future is yet to come. We are here now, yes, yes? I can feel my feet on the ground. I'm in the present moment now. What a joyful place I found. Here in the present moment now. I am here now. Leaving my worries at the door. Opening to more love and joy. Celebrate with me now. We're in the present moment now. We are. Let's take a breath. Let's take a breath. We sing, I breathe in. I breathe out. I am in the present moment now. The easiest way to return to the present is to put your focus on your breath. It allows your entire being to settle down. Here in the present, problems seem so small. Here in the present, all my giants fall. Here in the present, problems seem so small. Here in the present, all my giants. Oh, we are living the power of the power.
Keeping a list of your mistakes. It's not Santa Claus. It is a loving, unconditionally loving presence that is holding you, knowing you, encouraging you, living through you. And if you have an idea of God that is punishing, that is testing, that is vengeful, that is not God. Welcome here, welcome home, because we celebrate the goodness of God within you, all around you. There is nothing but God, and it is good. And at CSC, we believe that everything is spiritual, and that would include your cell phones. So what I want you to do is go ahead and spiritualize your cell phone. That means put it on vibrate. But if something moves you or touches you, put it out there on Facebook and Twitter and let people know not just where you're checked in, but where you're tuned in. Where you're tuned into consciousness. You never know how you're going to impact another life. So put it out there on Facebook and Twitter. And we want to keep in touch with you. So if on your way in you received one of these blue connection cards, please fill it out. So turn it over and put your information, especially your email address. Drop it in with your offering and we'll put you on our mailing list. We are in year 6 at CSC. I was back there this morning getting a little teary-eyed thinking about some things that we did in the beginning. And one of those that we did in the beginning was realize we wanted to create a place that felt like home. When you come to this place, you are never a visitor. Too stuffy. I'm Southern. If anything, you're a guest in our home and in our heart. And when you come back, you're family. First time you come, you're a guest. When you come back, you're family. So, if we have any first-time guests, please stand briefly. First-time guest. Hey. Thank you for being here. And remember, first time you come to CSC, you're a what? Yes. And when you come back, you're what? Family. Let's all stand and give each other like family. We are a family, like a giant tree.
one family, celebrating this truth in love, as love, with love. One of the things that I love about continuing to unfold and expand my awareness of who and what God is to recognize that we actually find God in places that we may not have been taught that we can find God. And of course, we know that this thing lives within us, it dwells within us, it's a real felt presence. But I also love knowing, y'all enjoying the weather this weekend? And so this beauty, that little breeze that's been blowing through, that's God. God is that breeze, right? The sun that is shining, all of those rays, that's God. And so as I sort of was just reflecting on that one day, this song came to me. I always find you with every breath that I breathe. God is the breath, your in-breath and out-breath. I always find you. I always find you. In the rhythm my heart beats. Put your hand on your heart right now. You just put your hand on God. Feel that beating. You are feeling the rhythm of God right now. Because the thing that's powering that heartbeat, that battery, that's God. And so this song is just a celebration of recognizing that we always find God everywhere. And the more that we look for it, the more that we will find it. And we really understand how good this thing that we choose to call God is. With every breath that I breathe, I always find you. I always find you. In the rhythm my heart beats, I always find you. I always find you. Find you. Find you, I find you, find you, oh, find you, I always find you. So 21. With every breath that I breathe, I always find you. I always find you. In the rhythm my heart beats. In the rhythm my heart beats. I always find you. I always find you. I always find you. Find you. Find you. Find you. Yeah. Find you. Find you. And the seas, in the rhythms and the seas, I always find you. I always find you. I always find you. Find you. Find you. The beauty of the tree, find you. The rivers and the seas, find you. And every breath I breathe, find you. Oh, find you. Find you. I always find you. Colors of humanity. God is in your beautiful skin. Always find. Always find. Red and yellow, blue and green. Red and yellow, blue and green. I always find. Always find you. Always find. I find you. With every breath I breathe, in the rhythm my heart beats, you're within and around me. I find you. Find you. I always find you. Find you. Oh, I find you. I always, yes, I always find you. Cross the neighbors on guitar. Every breath I breathe, in the rhythm my heart beats, in the colors of humanity, the rivers and the seas.
My name is Jen, and I'm so pleased to be with all of you beautiful beings today. So, one thing you'll learn about CSC is that our vision, mission, and purpose guide everything we do. The vision. Celebration Spiritual Center is a God experience that turns on the heart, mind, and soul of the world. A God experience is the realization of oneness that transcends material sense. Mission and purpose. To awaken the world to the presence of God within and all around us. Celebrate this truth as one family. Embody unconditional love. Equip humanity to live our greatest lives and serve all creation. The centering thought for this month's meditation is Love, joy, and peace abide in me. And the song for the month is Go Within. We conclude the August message series, The Secret Sauce, a recipe for transformation. Pastor Greg's topic today is, nevertheless, she persisted. So it's time for your CSC news and updates. Regular hours resume next Sunday, September 1st. Doors open at 10:30, and the celebration begins promptly at 11. So, do you have a prosperous mind? Yes. I hope so too. A prosperous mindset will open doors for you, bring ease and flow to all your activities, heal your relationships, and bring freedom and joy. You can have all of these things and more in 12 weeks or less. So go to celebrationsc.org/register to learn more about the 4T Prosperity Program and how you can study the principles of prosperity with Pastor Greg and Pastor Yolanda. This is the final 4T class of 2019. So sign up today. Save the date. Endless summer with family and friends is coming. We know all good things must come to an end, so we are going to celebrate every bit of the summer season with our friends and family at this great outdoor event that has been officially rescheduled to Sunday, September 8th. So invite your friends and family to join us for service at 11 a.m. and then enjoy good food and fellowship afterwards in the plaza. And the food is really going to be good. So, start your day by knowing the truth of who and whose you are. PG, PY, and the prayer champions pray with us and for us every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Call details can be found at the member services table on our website and social media. Connect with us this Wednesday and advance confidently into your day. Text to give is fast, easy, and secure. Text your dollar amount to 347-744-9500, then follow the prompts. Minimum donation is $10, and again, the number is 347-744-9500. Try it out today. Now, just a few housekeeping reminders. No food or drink is permitted in the sanctuary except for water, but we do ask that you keep your beverage covered. And also, there is no audio or video recording during service. And now we have an announcement from Pastor Greg and Pastor Yolanda, but first, thank you all for celebrating today with us, and we'll see you next week.
Hey everybody, quick announcement. As Jen shared with you, Summer Lovin' has been rescheduled and is now, because we brand everything, in the summer. We will need volunteers for that. Some of you have been asking questions, do we need volunteers? Yes, we do. We have one slot on Saturday where we'll need at least 10 volunteers, and 3 slots, right James, on Sunday where we'll need at least 10 volunteers, okay? So the link will go up this week and you can sign up, and we'll also have it available next Sunday if you want to sign up in service, okay? Thank you. Thanks again for all those that came out before and all those that will volunteer this time. Thank you.
Hello again, everyone. I'll keep this short and sweet. We have auditions happening today for Soul 21. And so, if you're interested in auditioning, the first thing that's important to note is that previous singing experience is required. So this is not an opportunity to learn how to sing, but it is an opportunity to bring the gift and the skill that you have in service. Additionally, you need to be able to commit to being a member. We rehearse every week on Tuesdays. You need to be able to commit to that and also commit to serving at least twice a month. There's some other things that we'll discuss for those that are auditioning. If you would like to audition, please complete the form on our website. You can actually just go to the host table and sign up so that we have your name and your information. And again, we will start at 12:30. We'll hold rehearsals auditions rather, after service. Okay? Looking forward to it.
Well, It is time for meditation. I get excited every Sunday. There's so many benefits of meditation. But for many of us, in our search, in our seeking, we spend a lot of time in our head. We spend a lot of time thinking about and reading about and trying to get information about God. But we rarely take the time to feel God, because God is within you, right? And as I like to say, you can have all of the information you want. That's an intellectual exercise, and that's good. We teach a lot. We study a lot. But the only way you know God is to feel God. And the easiest way to feel God is to go within. Many times we don't go within because we think that what's within us is not God. It's everything but God. It's all the worry, it's all the doubt, it's all the fear, it's all the insecurity. And that's why I love this month's centering thought. Love, joy, and peace abide in me. Abide means it's there. Doesn't mean you got to seek it. It just means it's there. It's always there. And that's why I love this particular lesson from A Course in Miracles. Love, joy, and peace abide in me. I don't have to question that it's there. That's its home. That's its home. And that's also because love, joy, and peace are connected to the source of love, joy, and peace. That means it's God's home. It's within you. So let's close our eyes and bring our feet to the floor. And if you're holding anything on your lap, anything that would constrict or restrict your ability to feel this God alive within you, go ahead and release it now. And release your feet to the floor and allow your back to rest against the chair. Now close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, you begin the descent into the center of your being, where God is, where God is calling you home, where the things that we seek on the outside already are: love, joy, and peace. And as we just notice where we are in our body, where we are in the chair, we also notice the breath. However it's moving or not moving, however quickly or slowly, we just notice. We make no judgment of the breath. We just know that it is our signal that God is there. And so we allow it to be wherever it is. And as we now bring our focus to the feet, we give gratitude for the feet that hold us up. And we surrender the feet to the floor. Relax the feet. And as the toes relax, the heels relax. We send the energy of relaxation into the ankles. Relax the ankles. Energy now is collecting and moving up our calves, up our shins. It signals our relaxation, so relax the ankles, the calves, and the shins. Now relax the knees, surrendering that will that keeps us separate and making the connection. Energy now travels across the thighs. Relax the thighs. Now relax the hips. we allow the energy to travel up our spine. Crossing each chakra, activating each chakra, balancing each chakra, traveling up, crossing our throat, crossing our third eye, and now traveling out the crown. In your mind, imagine this pool of energy collecting above us all, coalescing, and now traveling down our crown, across our shoulders, down our arms. Relax the arms. Now turn the palms up if you like, opening a little more, signaling this love, joy, and peace to abide. Noticing the kiss of the breeze of God across the palm. God is there. Now that our breath is more relaxed, we're going to breathe together, focusing in on the right side, the right palm. Together, breathe in and up the arm. Exhale down the left side. Inhale up the left side. Exhale down the right. Inhale up the right side of the body. Exhale down the left. Inhale up the left side. Exhale down the right. 2 more rounds on your own, inhaling up. Exhaling down. 1 more. And down. Bringing the energy center. Inhale through the low belly all the way up through the heart. Hold it there. At that heart healing space. Open the mouth and release. Inhale all the way up through the heart, where love, joy, and peace abide. And release. One more time. Breathe in all the way up. Hold it there. And release. This time, breathing all the way in and up. Hold it there. Close the lips and exhale through the nose. This is how we will breathe together, in and out through the nose. Each breath relaxing us more. Each breath taking us to the center, to the heart space. And each breath reminding us that we can go within any time, where love, joy, and peace abide. And as we sing these words, you just take that journey, remembering that love, joy, and peace abide in you. Go within. The love of God sustains you. Go within. Go within. Open my body and soul. Go within. You'll find the answers you seek. One's within. Go within and return to love. Return to love. Return to peace and ease. Eyes are closed. We're just setting the vibration my body and soul. Go within. What's within you? You'll find the answers you seek. One's within. Go within and return to love. Scan your body from the inside. Notice anywhere that feels tight or constricted. Send love there, send joy there, send peace there. And so as this music slows, we will take this deeper journey. We will monitor the time. You just go to the place where love, joy, and peace abide. And let every voice, but the voice that is this love, this joy, and this peace, be still now. With our eyes still closed, we notice how good it feels on the inside to be where love, joy, and peace abide. We notice how good it feels to be connected. And we take this sensation with us wherever we go. All we have to do is go within. And remember that the answers are there because God is there. We just have to go within. Whether we're on the train or whether we're in a home, closing our eyes for a moment, it establishes our connection because God is never disconnected from us. Just enjoy how it feels, this connection. As we sing, just enjoy it a little more. Go within. The love of God sustains you. Go within. Open my body and soul. Go within.
Good, yes, yeah? Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. And so we're going to take that goodness just another step further. What I absolutely know to be true is that those that expect things to work out for them generally find that things begin to work out for them. It may not be immediately, but it's just been proven over and over again in all walks of life that those that generally have a positive expectation about life generally have a positive experience. Not that that protects them or buffers them from things happening, right? None of us can be protected from grief and loss, and there's so many things that happen in this life as human beings. But still, if you look at the trajectory of their life, there's just good that's just happening. Yes, yes, anybody can testify to that truth? And so we know that is true, and so we're gonna live in that reality and expect the good. To put your hands together. I expect things work out for me.
Things work out for me, I expect.
To live in victory.
To live in victory, I expect.
To live in joy today.
To live in joy today, I expect.
I get just what I say.
I get just what I say, I expect.
And I get just what I pray.
I get just what I pray, I expect.
To live in joy today.
To live in joy today, I expect.
To have more than enough.
To have more than enough, I expect.
To live the life I love.
To live the life I love, I expect.
To live in joy today.
To live in joy today, I expect.
Always.
Always expect.
I expect the good. Expect the good. I expect things work out for me. To live in victory. To live in joy today. I get just what I say. And I get just what I pray. To live in joy today. I'm more than enough. To live the life I love. To live in joy today. Hey. I expect it. So it is. Yes, yes. That song was directly inspired by reading Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind, where he writes, always expect the good. And he says, one alone in consciousness with the divine constitutes a complete majority. Yes. Woo, I love that thing. And so when you understand that you have a complete majority, because you are one with God, one with this thing we call God, the divine, you don't need any other cosigner. Yes. So you can expect the good. That'll preach itself. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. It's so good to see your lovely faces. It's so good to be here with you all. Before I get into the message, I do want to share a bit of news. Reverend Jennifer Berkeley, who I'm sure many of you know, Rockland Center for Spiritual Living is one of our sister churches. She's been here with us in service. We also partnered with Rockland, for those of you that remember, for Puerto Rico. We were able to work together to secure a ship to send goods over to Puerto Rico. Well, unfortunately, her mother transitioned yesterday. Her mother was just an amazing woman. We affectionately called her Mother Mary. And I just ask that you would just keep her and her family in your prayers and send love. And of course, we are sending love to them, and we'll show up for them as they are moving through this time of transition. So we are in the last week of this series, The Secret Sauce, a recipe for transformation. And we started in week 1 with what happens before surgery. In week 2, we talked about from the topic Deep in My Heart. In week 3, Practical Dreamers. Now, all of this is rooted in an understanding of these 4 guidelines, this formula that comes from an episode of My 600-Pound Life, where Dr. Nazardan is working with a patient, and he says, there are 4 things that are required to make massive change. 1, a proper understanding of the problem. So that's what we talked about in week 1. The second is the right attitude. That's what we talked about in week 2. Third is desire, which we talked about last week. And the 4th today is a willingness to work hard. And so thinking about this final message and this final nugget of wisdom, a willingness to work hard, I was reminded of something that happened back in 2017. It feels like it was only last year, but it was 2017. And then Senator Jeff Sessions was being, he had gone through his confirmation hearings, and the Senate was voting, the full body of the Senate was voting to confirm him to become the Attorney General under 45. And Senator Elizabeth Warren objected to this confirmation, and she invoked the words of Senator Ted Kennedy, who was also against Jeff Sessions in the past when he was being confirmed for another appointment. Also, she went to a letter that was written by Coretta Scott King, who had written a letter saying basically that Jeff Sessions is a racist, and he was being considered to become a judge. And so naturally, Senator Elizabeth Warren felt that it was appropriate to say, hey, you know, maybe we should listen to what Coretta Scott King has to say about this and about this man that we're about to make him the Attorney General. Well, she was rebuked and silenced by the Senate majority. And of course, our Senate majority leader is Mitch McConnell. And so in silencing her, and there was a vote that happened in the Senate to stop her from reading those words from Coretta Scott King, McConnell is summarizing the events. And so he says Senator Warren was giving a lengthy speech. She had appeared to violate the rules. She was warned. She was given an explanation, and nevertheless, she persisted. And so what was interesting about this, he uses these words on the floor of the Senate, and it became this rallying cry. And it's a rallying cry that's been used and embraced the world over. And I think this contains the ingredients for what we want to understand about this final ingredient of the willingness to work hard. Nevertheless, she persisted. And so to understand this power, first, when I think about what Elizabeth Warren chose to do in that moment, because as a Democratic senator, she's in the minority, right? As a female senator, she's in the minority. And she chose, in spite of these seeming obstacles, to still speak truth to power. She chose to continue to speak even when they tried to silence her. And again, I think there's something here that gives us a clue into what a willingness to work hard looks like. And so there's three things that I want to share with you. The first is get out and get something. The second is how to stay persistent. And then the third, we're going to talk about your built-in advantage that allows you to remain persistent in order to work hard. So get out and get something. This is inspired by Outkast. Yes. 25 years ago, back in 1994, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music with the Goody Mob. And in that chorus, not only am I dating myself, but in the second half of the chorus, we hear you need to get up, get out, and get something. How will you make it if you never even try? You need to get up, get out, and get something, because you and I got to do for you and I. Right? Very positive, affirmative statement, right? And I love that these brothers were putting that into our consciousness oh so long ago. And I think this is the first part that gets us into understanding what a willingness to work hard is. Because when we're talking about working hard, I'm not talking about the sweat of your brow. I'm not talking about hustling, right? But I am talking about aligning. And as I always say, and if you've never heard this, write this down. The mental work is the work. So the only working that you need to do, see, the reason why people are out here busting their butts is because they ain't thinking thoughts that are affirmative and constructive. But if you think thoughts that are affirmative and constructive and choose to really do this physically, right? So get up, and get something is interesting because the other part that we're saying is you can't be lazy if you want to transform your life, right? And this is very important. And again, when I say lazy, first, let's just look at the definition of it, and then we'll dig a little deeper, right? Disinclined to activity or exertion, not energetic or vigorous, right? Now, yes, the laws work for you, and the law of attraction, you're a magnetic being, and you attract things to you, but some of us have been led to believe that that means we can just sit around and do nothing, and the good is going to come to us. Again, the mental work is the work. Now, you can sit in your bed and do the mental work, but you're going to be working. Yes, yes? Because in truth, the work that you're going to be doing is undoing all of those false beliefs that we've embraced through our family, through our culture, through the news, what we watching on TV, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to uproot some stuff, right? You're going to have to get your garden ready to plant the seeds. Other synonyms: idle, indolent, shiftless, slothful. Related word, and I can't stand sloths, by the way, so I hear that word. I think it's the creepiest animals ever. Yeah, that's what I'm looking. Some of y'all like sloths. I know, no shade. I think they're creepy. Okay. Other related words: apathetic, drowsy, dull, inert, lethargic, listless, sleepy, sluggish. And again, let's think about this as it relates to transformation, right? Because we're not talking about, a lot of times laziness is used as a judgment. But what I'm saying is that if you want to make change, because that's what the secret sauce recipe is about, that this is a recipe for transformation. So if you're trying to transform, if there's something you want to change in your life, if you want to experience massive change, you can neither be apathetic, drowsy, dull, inert, lethargic, listless, sleepy, or sluggish about this thing that you want to change. Right? What you have to be, the antonyms are beautiful: ambitious, diligent, enterprising, zealous, active, animated, bouncing, brisk, dynamic, energetic, exuberant, frisky, jazzy, right? Lively. Take what word feels good to you. Peppy, perky, spirited, sprightly, springy, vigorous, vivacious. See, so this is what we're saying. So when I say you can't be lazy, when I'm saying you got to get up, get out, and get something, I'm saying you got to be jazzy about this thing. You got to be perky about this thing. And so many times I can tell how someone really feels about the thing it is that they say they want to be, the thing it is they say they want to do, the thing they say they want to have. Because if I don't see that ambitious, diligent, enterprising, zealous, active, animated, bouncy, springy expression, I know they ain't about that life. And this is a way that you can tap into yourself and really understand that. It takes me back a couple weeks back when we were talking about the right attitude, and I took us to this formula that comes from Malcolm X, actually. And he says at the end of that quote, once you change your attitude, it changes your behavior pattern, and then you go on into some action. Action is required in order to make a change. Action is required in order to make a change, but it's inspired action. And again, what we generally don't do, and this is why the first part is important, a proper understanding of the problem. If we don't even understand what the problem is, we're trying to resolve something that may not need to be resolved, right? We have to have a proper understanding, but then we have to have the right attitude. And Dr. Now says in that episode, he says, your desire doesn't even matter if you don't have the right attitude. You got to have the right attitude, and then it goes into our desire, right? And then our desire leads us into action. But laziness leads to lazy results. If you sort of kind of try, you sort of kind of get results. And so this is why it's so very important when we understand that we got to get up, get out, and get something. So when I say a willingness to work hard, when we read this, what we're saying is that a willingness to work hard and to no longer be lazy, but to be bouncing, brisk, dynamic, and energetic, that means you show up for yourself. That means you meet your agreements and your commitments. That means you create or adopt a plan to follow. If you're going to get up and get out and get something, that means you're dependable. That means that you've developed or you are developing discipline so that you can achieve the results that you want. It means that you demonstrate through your action that this goal, that this transformation is important to you. So this is a place for us to check in. There are a lot of things we say we want. There's a lot of things we say we want to be, do, or have. But what is the energy behind how we're showing up? Because now we're talking about the action place. And it's never about, we say this in so many different areas of life, but it's always the same. It's never about the action that you're doing. It's about the vibration behind the action, right? And so this is what we're talking about here, right? Again, I'll read these words again so you can hear them and grab the word that feels good for you. Ambitious, diligent, enterprising, zealous, active, animated, bouncing, brisk, dynamic, energetic, exuberant, frisky, jazzy, lively, peppy, perky, spirited, sprightly, springy, vigorous, and vivacious. If you're not in that wheelhouse somewhere, then we need to tap in and look at it a little bit. And that takes us to our next point. Well, how do we stay persistent? If we recognize that we need to be persistent, and this is what really a willingness to work hard is really all about. If we're working hard, the hard is your persistence, right? And that means showing up no matter what. And so it takes me back to Think and Grow Rich. We looked at Think and Grow Rich last week, and we looked at chapter 2, which is desire, the first step towards riches. Well, Think and Grow Rich also has a chapter titled Persistence. That's chapter 9. Persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith, the 8th step towards riches. Now, what's interesting to me about this chapter when you read it, and I encourage you to read it. If you don't have the book, get it. Get the audiobook, listen to it, right? That's what I do. I keep these chapters with me to tap in wherever I am. Ironically, chapter 9, when you read it, points you back to chapter 2. And it points you back to chapter 2 because it says that as desire is the first step towards riches, desire and persistence work hand in hand. We read this: the starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desires bring weak results, just as a small amount of fire makes a small amount of heat. If you find yourself lacking in persistence, this weakness may be remedied by building a stronger fire under your desires. I want to just check in for a second and think about this. Many times, has anybody ever had an issue with being persistent at some point or sometime as you were, trying to reach a goal? And what that is really about, if you find that you're struggling to be persistent, it's time for you to look back at your desire. That means you got to go back to last week's message. Last week's message, right, we were talking about the writing of our desires and using the imagination step. Because what happens is when your desire is weak, your persistence will be weak. And I love the example that he gives. It's so wonderful, right? A small amount of fire produces a small amount of heat, right? That's what we're doing. So if you want a stronger fire, you have to build a stronger, or you want to stay persistent, you have to build a stronger fire under your desires. And so many of our so-called desires are actually hopes and wishes and not desires. Which is why then when we try to be persistent around a hope or persistent around a wish, it doesn't pan out. But that which you truly desire focuses you. We talked about that last week, that's why we write something down. God is not Santa Claus. We're not giving him a metaphysical list to provide things for us. But as we write the vision, that focuses us, right? That which you truly desire is not squelched by seeming defeat or failure. That's the other way you know that it's something that you really desire, because it doesn't matter what people say, it doesn't matter what people think, it doesn't matter if you fail the first time, it doesn't matter if you fail the 10th time. There's something within you that is moving you forward, knowing that you can be, do, or have that thing. That which you truly desire to possess, it drives you to achieve it. That which you truly desire makes sense to you, even if it don't make sense to anybody else. So just as I talked about that idea from Ernest Holmes, one in consciousness with the divine constitutes a complete majority. See, most of us don't really live in that place. Because as soon as we get a good idea, we call somebody and tell them about it. And subconsciously, we're seeking approval. That which you truly desire, you don't need to call nobody about it. You just turned on by it. And you begin to do the work to bring that thing into being. That which we truly desire will compel us to get up in the morning, to spend more time working on that project, to invest in ourselves, to seek out mentors, to seek out to support, and to remove the distractions from our life. It becomes matter of fact. That's one of the ways I know when that's something that I really desire, because I start going to bed early. Because I know, I got something to work on, right? I know what I'm doing the next day, right? All of a sudden, I start to shift my schedule. All of a sudden, I magically find room for this thing that I didn't have room for before because I truly desire it. And so all of a sudden, I realize, oh, that thing is not that important. That TV show is not important. I can watch This Is Us later. Right? All of a sudden, I realize that. That which I truly desire, it starts to make choices for me in the most beneficial and beautiful way in order for that thing to come into being. So that's how we understand that. That's how we know that. So if you find that you're unable to be persistent like Senator Elizabeth Warren was, go back to your written desires. As I said, go back to last week's message, and we talked about that. I said you can look at the formula that Napoleon Hill gives us in the chapter on desire. You can also look at the very simple practice that R.H.J. gives us in the book, It Works. Go back to your written desires. And here's what you do. You may have written what you want, but you haven't identified why you want it. If you've been in class with me for any period of time, you know, what do I talk about? The thing under the thing. See, what's happening is we think we want this physical object or this experience, but that's not what it is. When you say you want a home or a house What's behind that is the safety and the comfort and the protection of that home. What's behind that is, oh, I want to entertain. What's behind that is, oh, I just want to decorate and I want to live in a beautiful space, right? When you say you want a loving partner or a spouse, what you're saying is you want connection. You want a partner. You want somebody that you can experience wonderful things with and go out and see Frankie Beverly and Maze with, right? You want to do all of those things, right? We went to the show last night. That's what I'm saying. Right? So that's what you're really saying, but if you just put your focus on the picture of that image, you're not identifying the why. You're not identifying the thing under the thing. And when you understand and identify the thing under the thing, that really becomes your goal. And what I love about that is that also then becomes more accessible to you. The thing that you identify usually seems way far off. Abraham teaches it this way: anything that we desire, we want because we think we will feel good in the having of it. And so when we understand that if we think we'll feel good, what can you do now? Feel good. And by establishing that vibration of feeling good, you then will attract the good that you're seeking into your life. So that's one of the things that you want to do. Go back to your written desires and identify the what. If you have identified the what, then identify your why. There are a couple tools, ways you can do that. We're doing it in the Abraham class now. You can use the creative workshop process. Another thing that we can use, a tool that I love, is called the self-journal. And the self-journal supports you in identifying 3 desires for a 90-day period. And it asks you those questions, understanding why do you want to achieve this thing? And then how will you celebrate or reward yourself when you achieve that thing? Because that's another thing we don't do. Sometimes we tick off some of the goals and don't even take time to celebrate it, don't even take time to acknowledge it. And so that we get a few months away and a few months off and we go back into fear, doubt, and worry because we haven't used the muscle of our faith to remind ourselves that, oh, this thing, source, has been with me all the time, and I've been moving through and checking off my list and meeting goals. And so out of that place of reminding ourselves and celebrating it, it actually solidifies it in our mind so we can bring it back. Napoleon Hill offers 2 more suggestions here, that if we're unable to be persistent, surround yourself with a mastermind group. We read here in that chapter, surround yourself with a mastermind group, and through the cooperative efforts of the members of this group, you can develop persistence. This is rooted in something that I named after my brother Rodney McKenzie. I call it the McKenzie method. Because one of the things I learned from him that he does so well, anytime Rodney had a desire or something that he wanted to do, he would always bring a group of people together around it, right? So it's like, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. Let me call a few other people and see who else is trying to release some weight, and let's do it together. Create a mastermind. Hey, I'm thinking about running the marathon. Let me find a few other people that are thinking about running the marathon. Let's get together, because what that starts to do, one, there's the principle where 2 or 3 are gathered, there will I be also, right? And that's rooted in the mastermind, where Napoleon Hill writes that when two or more minds come together, a third mind is created. And this can actually help you to be accountable, and it can help you to be persistent. Surround yourself with people that are also persistent. So as you're developing your mastermind, please don't pick people that you know they ain't persistent. That's not who you want in your mastermind. And again, if you read Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill gives us ideas about how to cultivate and attract the right mastermind, the type of people that you want in your mastermind. You, again, want to find people that maybe have strengths that you don't currently exhibit. Wonderful, because the strengths live in you, right? You're just not exhibiting them right now. And so by surrounding yourself by someone that's already exhibiting that strength, that's actually going to help you to tap into that thing. This is a way for us to remain persistent, doing it as a group, invoking the mastermind principle, the McKenzie method. The other thing he says is go slow, right? Shift your goals into smaller bite-sized chunks that you can be persistent on. He writes in the text, be persistent no matter how slowly you may at first have to move. With persistence will come success. Sometimes we think, we have to move so fast, or we want to get there right away, and we end up tripping ourselves up. So just take the time to slow down. Maybe look at, if you've set a goal and you're like, I want this in 90 days, but you're feeling the pressure around it, extend it to 180 days, right? Which gives yourself room to breathe and moves you out of fear, doubt, and worry. We got to get up, get out, get something. And then how do we stay persistent? Well, we stay persistent by recognizing that the fuel of our desire is what fuels our persistence. And so if our persistence is not shady, but shaky, if our persistence is shaky, then we recognize we need to look back at our desires. And we talked about what to do there, right? We've identified the what. Let's identify the why. Okay? We can do it together as a group, do it in community, develop a mastermind, use the McKinsey method, and then also go slow. And so the third piece is my favorite part of this message. Your built-in advantage. The other way that we get to really stay persistent and live in this place that Senator Elizabeth Warren exhibited in that nevertheless she persisted moment is this idea of a built-in advantage. And how many people, and I know we got some formerly churchy folk in the building, how many people have heard the term favor ain't fair? Right? Churchy idea. And what it's talking about is this idea that God's favor is with you, and so God will bless you, and so God will move you to the head of the line because you're blessed, right? Or God will give you certain things even if you're not qualified for, and it's an interesting idea, right? And unfortunately, what they're really saying in saying favor ain't fair, they're talking about favoritism, right? They're really saying that favoritism isn't fair, and we know that that's true, right? Favoritism isn't fair, right? But favoritism is also injustice. Can we agree with that?
Yes.
Favoritism is also inequality. Can we agree with that?
Yes.
But see, the God in me, the God that I know, is justice itself. The God in me, the God that I know, knows only equality. So what is this thing about the favor of God? Now, the favor of God it's real. It's something that we all experience, but it's not favoritism. See, the truth is that we are all God's favorite child. Each and every one of you is God's favorite. And so there's this built-in advantage that you have by being God's favorite. But again, the thing is, this is not favoritism. There's not an exclusivity. There's not a New Thought club that because we know these laws and make use of these laws, we have the favor of God. There's not an Episcopalian club that God favors the Episcopalians because they have the theology just right. There's not a Protestant club. There's not a Catholic club. There's not a Pentecostal club that has a certain theology that God honors them because they look at God this way or speak of God this way. It includes everybody. We are all God's favorite child. Can we affirm this? Yes. I am God's favorite, and so are you.
I am God's favorite, and so are you.
Look at somebody. I am God's favorite,
I am God's favorite,
and so are you.
and so are you.
So if you want to talk about the favor of God, it has to include everybody. There has to be a so are you. There has to be a you too in this thing. And so the favor of God, if we understand what it is actually an extension and an expression of love itself. The phrase favor ain't fair is really just another example of humans trying to comprehend something that is incomprehensible, trying to wrap their minds around something that we can never wrap our minds around, trying to define and understand God through our behavior and our actions. But the favor of God, it's just like the love of God. We cannot fully comprehend unconditional love itself.
Right. Yes.
And so this favor, right, we don't understand how it is that we just have certain advantages sometimes in life. We don't understand how and what it is that doors just open to us when doors were supposed to be closed. We don't understand how it is that we get approved when we were supposed to be disapproved. We don't understand how it is that we live when we were told we were going to die. We don't understand how it is that we can experience miracles when the doctor said there's no hope. We don't understand. And because we don't understand, we've now called it favoritism. We've now tried to understand God through the lens of how we act. Because humans ain't fair. Humans constantly create inequality and injustice. But if we say favor ain't fair, then we must also be saying and believing that God isn't fair. Mm-hmm. That God somehow supports inequality and injustice. But the thing about the favor of God, it exists, so we make use of it. And this is where your built-in advantage is, because as you're choosing to experience massive transformation, as you're choosing to be, do, or have something new, as you're choosing to experience massive change, you have a built-in advantage. You have a power within you. You have a miracle worker within you. You have a door opener within you. While you are asleep, this thing is working on your behalf. This is the favor of God that's working in you, through you, and as you. While you're at work, it's bringing the people, the places, the experiences, and the resources together to allow you to take the next step in whatever that thing is that you desire. You have a built-in advantage. You have a power that is drawing everything to you you need to succeed. You have a built-in advantage, and this is why you can persist. See, you have a transforming power within you. You have a transforming power within you that plants within every failure the seed of its equivalent advantage. Lord have mercy. You have a transforming power within you that every failure, every setback, every disappointment actually turns into your greater good. You have a built-in advantage, and this is why you can persist. See, it doesn't care what you call it. You only have to recognize that it is, and it's good. I want you to hear that again. You have a built-in advantage. It does not care what you call it. You only have to recognize that it is, and it is good. It is always good. Know that it is with you. Know that it is within you. Know that it is always listening. Know that it is always speaking to you. Know that it is right by your side. You have a built-in advantage. Make use of this power. Don't try to do it alone. This is your built-in advantage. You're not alone. You have the power of the entire cosmos with you, flowing to you, living in you, acting as you. Don't do it alone. With God, all things are possible. With love, all things are possible. With this joy, all things are possible. You have a built-in advantage. Make use of it. Make use of it. Make use of it today. Don't wait. Because you have a built-in advantage. When you know that you have a built-in advantage, you can persist. When you know that you have a built-in advantage, you can move forward even in the face of defeat. When you know you have a built-in advantage, you can move forward even after your 10th failure. When you know that you have a built-in advantage, you're not worried about other people's opinion. When you know that you have a built-in advantage, you're not worried about other people's diagnosis. When you know that you have a built-in advantage, you can get out and get up and get something. When you know that you have a built-in advantage, you can stay persistent. And so I'll close with this, which is just very simple. Napoleon Hill writes it so clearly. Without persistence, you will be defeated, even before you start. But with persistence, you will win. That's the only difference between most people that succeed and those that don't. There's a wonderful story that Napoleon Hill shares in the text, in the book, 3 Feet from Gold. And it basically talks about this gentleman who had gotten a tip. He had gotten some information that there was gold available, and this was near the end of the gold rush. But he had gotten this tip that he could find gold, and so he didn't have the money he needed, but he reached out to friends and family and raised the money that he needed to buy the equipment, to buy the land and buy the equipment, the mining equipment. And they kept digging and digging and didn't find any gold. And digging some more, didn't find any gold. Digging and digging some more, didn't find any gold. And so now at this point, he's deep in debt. He owes his family and friends. He's been paying workers to help him mine this gold, and they've received nothing. Based on the tip that he had, if he had this gold, not only would become lovingly rich. And so, out of frustration, he said, you know what, let me cut my losses while I'm at it, because I'm getting deep in this hole, literally and figuratively. And so he sells the land, at cost to another man. And so that guy was a pretty wise gentleman. He decided to seek out an expert that about mining and what to look for. And so he came out and gave him some information. And he said, yeah, the gold is definitely there. Just keep digging 3 feet from where you already are. And that man who bought that plot of land, that bought that mine, 3 feet, struck gold, became incredibly wealthy. Most of us are 3 feet from gold. The only difference between those that quote unquote strike it rich in this scenario, right? Those that succeed are those that continued even in the face of seeming defeat. Even in the face of feeling like your back is against the wall. Even in the face of feeling like, I don't know how I can do this anymore. And that's the gift of persistence. But if you cannot persist, you got to tap back into your desire. and look at what that's about. Maybe you were just wishing or hoping for that thing. Now you can transmute that wish and that hope into a desire that will bring you the results. But you may realize, oh, I don't really want this thing. That's cool too, right? And start with something new that turns you on. But this is how it works. I encourage each and every one of you, even as we're talking about persistence, and you can stand, to come back to this series because it is a recipe for transformation. Please don't let this just be another, oh, that was good. Remember when Pastor Greg preached about the sauce? And that's all it is a memory. What I would love to hear is, Pastor Greg, I used the sauce, I tasted the sauce, I put it on everything in my life, and it's tasting even better now. Make use of this thing. Make use of these tools. Make use of these steps. Buy the books if you don't have the books. Many of you already have the books, so blow the dust off of the books. And make use. Make use. Make use. With that, I invite us to just take a deep breath in, and we release. There is one mind, one power, one presence working in all, through all, and as all. It is here right now. It is here as each and every one of my sisters and brothers that are here. It is here in the air that we are breathing. It is here in the sunshine that is shining in this space. It is here in the connection that is connecting those that are streaming live. It is here in the connection with those that will be watching this at some future time. It is here now, always available. And as I recognize that it is, I recognize that I am one with it and I am one of it. My sister, my brother, you are one with it and one of it. We are created in its likeness and image. All of the rights and privileges, all of the divine possibilities that exist within its mind exist in my mind. God's mind is my mind now. The love that is God is my love now. The peace that is God is my peace now. The transformation that is God is my transformation now, and the built-in advantage that is God, that favor of God is mine right here and right now. I reach out in consciousness and I take hold of it. I reach out in consciousness now and make use of these realities, make use of these laws that are always working, and I am making use of consciously or unconsciously. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it consciously. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it for my good. Right here, right now, I choose to make use of it for my healing. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it for that which I desire to experience as my life. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it as my new family. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it as the expansion of my business. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it as the healing of my mind. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it as the healing of my body. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it as the healing of my relationships. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it as the healing of my beliefs. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it as the healing of my expectations. Right here and right now, I choose to make use of it as the thing that allows me to be great on this planet Earth. Right here and right now, I turn my full attention and focus on the reality that this thing exists. And as I turn my full attention and focus, it is as if I am turning my full attention and focus on the sun. And I am affected by that light. That light nourishes me. That light warms me up. I change, I transform, I change colors as a result of that light. And so I allow the transforming light of God, as I allow the transforming light of the sun to be, so I let that light of God be in, through, and as me now. I allow it to transform me. I surrender to it. I say yes to it. In this moment, I invite each and every one of you to live in that vibration of yes. For that is the song, that is the word, that is the sound of God itself. Yes and amen. Yes, and it is so. That is all that the universe knows. That is all that these laws know. Yes and amen. Yes.
Have a seat, everybody. When we were talking about the series, I was like, oh, this is going to be a good one. And Pastor Greg is right. Please don't take this series and file it away. Take the series, and if you have to watch it every day for a month, Watch it. Write down what speaks to you. One of the things that we were so clear about when we created CSC is that we wanted to create a place where we talked about spirituality, but we made it practical. Because many times it's so heady that you can't live from it. And many times we're only in our head and we're not living from the truth. We're not moving from inspired action. And so this series is so simply beautiful in its execution, in its message, and in what it's talking about. There's a secret sauce, and it's really not a secret because you now know what it is. It's as if you turned on the Food Network and they just listed it for you. They worked through it for you. They laid all the ingredients out and they cooked it in front of you. And all you gotta do is repeat it at your own home. That's what this is a recipe for. Please, go back, watch it again. Don't let that voice in your head that says, oh, I got this already, keep you from getting it already. Right? You can transform your life. And you're the only one that can. So take these tools, take these messages, and apply them. And then come back to PG and BY and say, oh yeah, I do have it. I got the secret sauce, and I've been using it. I've been putting it on everything. I went to Popeyes and got that chicken sandwich. I put it on that, right? I put it on everything. For real. For real. You have the tools to transform your life. Put it on every fear. Put it on every doubt. Put it on every worry. Right? Put it on everything. Thank you, Pastor Graham.
Yes, in this moment, it is time to prepare for giving. If you need a giving envelope or you need a pen to complete your envelope, please just raise your hand. Our ushers are so very happy to serve you. For those of you, if you need the information, you can give online. And we appreciate those that do give online. You can go right to our website, celebrationsc.org. Scroll down to the giving section. If you would like to text the give, the number again is 347-744-9500. And I just talked about it in the message, this idea of the how we do something is really what matters. And it is the same truth in giving. So often we've been shamed into giving. Right? We've been taught to give based on fear. God's gonna get you. Don't you robbing God? You know, all this stuff. Right? Misapplying the scriptures in Malachi. And of course, we don't teach that here at CSC. What we understand and what we will continue to support you in understanding and continue to affirm and reaffirm week in and week out, that we must give from the vibration of joy. Tap in, what is that amount that you feel joyful about? Even if you feel a little bit of unease, dial it back. Give till it feels good, not till it hurts. That's PY. Okay? Because I recognize that then that is how you will experience the blessing of giving, this law of circulation which works easily and effortlessly for all of us. And as you prove the law, then you will be able to expand your giving, right? I'm a living witness of that truth. But you got to prove it. Give in joy and you reap joy. Give in fear, guilt, shame, you will reap the same very thing in your life in different ways. We don't want that for you or for your life. We want good for you and for your life. We want joy for you and your life. We want abundance and prosperity for you and your life. So give from that place, knowing that you're giving from more than enough. And when we give from that place, that is why and how we can affirm this truth. All the money that I use, returns to me multiplied. In a never-ending cycle, of increase and enjoyment. With that, I call our ushers forward, and we're going to take a very joyous offering.
I give my love, more love comes rushing back to me. Thank you. I give my time, more time's available to me. Thank you. I give my treasure, doors are opening for me. As I give, I receive. Yes, it's all coming right back to me. I give my love, more love comes rushing back to me.
within our hands and through our hands, the very life beat, the life force that is you, Mother, Father, God. We are so grateful today to know that we have the secret sauce, that we, each and every one of us, are your favorite children. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this knowing, for these teachings, for this understanding. We bless the givers that gave from their overflow. We bless everyone out there who's listening and watching. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for the tools to create the lives that we want, and we expect to receive what we are desiring. We go forth in the knowingness. We go forth. Not only do we go forth, we persist in our desire. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. From this place of awareness, I release these words back into the mind that is and holds us all in its favor. From this place of awareness, I say amen, amen. Ashe. Ashe. And so it is.
Let's affirm these together. I give my love, more love, comes rushing back to me.
I give my love, comes rushing back to me. Thank you.
I give my time, more time available to me. I give my treasure, doors are opening for me. As I give, I receive. Yes, it's all right. Back to me. Oh, back to me. Just to me. As we right back to me. Oh, right back. Coming right back. Oh, right. As a reminder, we do have auditions today at 12:30. Those who are preparing to audition, please be here. You can sit in the front row, and we will start as quickly as we can as we're breaking down. Anything else on this?
Sign-ups will email out the link, and then it will be on our website if you'd like to sign up for Saturday or Sunday. So that's the 7th or the 8th. And please bring your friends and family on the 8th. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good, always is a good time. Take Levi's word for it. I'm so grateful that we have YouTube, and I'm so grateful that we have video, so that you can go back and watch this series. It's transformational. But if something is standing between you and your transformation, if something you really want it to be a desire, but right now it's a hope or a wish because you're in fear, doubt, or worry, write it down and leave it on the altar, and our prayer champion, Nick Bullitt, will pray over it all week. Right? We pray easy. We pray knowing. We pray from the truth. We don't beg, bargain, or beseech God. There's no, oh God, oh please, in our prayer or our vibration. It is God, I know, and therefore it is. So, write it down. Leave your worries on the altar. And when you do that, what do we say at CSC?
All things are possible.
All things are possible. Now every little thing is possible. 'Cause I know who I am. And I know whose I am.
I know who's I am. Love y'all.
Love you.
You're